but you can always unmute if you do need to speak. So welcome everyone to Age Well with HESSCO. Thank you for joining us. This is our 16th annual Age Well with HESSCO conference. It may be our 16th annual one, but it is our first that is virtual. We are so thankful for all of you here for joining us in this new format. My name is Cheryl Leary. I am the Director of Planning and Community Development at HESSCO. HESSCO is the Area Agency on Aging and Aging Services Access Point in South Norfolk County. We have a variety of community members, caregivers, and people from our councils on aging and members of the HESSCO team with us here today. Thank you so much all for joining us. And also would like to say a thanks to our sponsor for this event, Dedham Savings Bank. They have been very generous with HESSCO through the years and jumped at the chance to help us with this new event format. So let me get started here. Sorry about that. So this program is being recorded. We do plan to record this event and then upload it to YouTube for others to view. And then we did just like to go over a little bit. We do ask for the housekeeping details that we go through for digital programs are different now, but we do ask that you please try to keep yourself on mute unless you're speaking. This makes it easier for everyone to hear. I think many of us have been in Zoom calls or on Zoom meetings when somebody else's phone starts ringing or the dog starts barking. So no one else can hear that if you're on mute. And you are muted when the microphone is red with the cross through it. Please feel free to share video. It does help our presenters be able to see their audience. Your video is on when there's no red line through the video camera icon. And also please use the chat feature today. The chat feature is a way for you to ask questions and interact with us, and so it actually can be very helpful for us to know that what your questions are and be able to answer them. Thank you. If you are new to Zoom, we may realize that, you know, for some people this might be a very new type of format for you. So if you do need to enlarge the Zoom so you can see it across your whole screen, you can click the enter full screen box. And on my desktop, it's in the upper right corner of the Zoom screen. You may also find it helpful to use the speaker view rather than the gallery view. And on the speaker view, you generally see only the person that's speaking. Right. So what hasn't changed? I mentioned this is our 16th annual event, and as you can see from this picture of a previous Age Well with HESSCO, it just isn't safe for us to gather in large crowds like this one shown here during the pandemic. But some things haven't changed. We have lined up great speakers for you, as we always do. We will provide you with tips and information and how-tos of aging well. We will still have some raffle prizes that we'll give away. We'll break twice to give out 2 different prizes each time. And the fact that we have always placed a high value on the need to share healthy aging information, just how important this is to HESSCO, has not changed. What has changed? Well, you didn't have to battle morning traffic to come onto this program today. Hopefully that's a good thing. You can be in your pajamas, and I'll let you decide if that's a good thing or bad thing. Sorry, but you do have to make your own coffee this morning. But we did make the program free to you. And again, thank you to our sponsors for Dedham Savings Bank. So I always like to give people an idea of what they would expect to get out of the program here today. And I do want to share sort of these 2 messages that I think you will hear today. I think what you'll find is that there are many ways right now to be actively engaged in your own health and well-being, and we will discuss some of those ways today. And then also, I think you'll hear that remaining active and engaged during the time of the pandemic requires different types of effort, but we also can't let the need for physical distance result in social isolation. So we have 2 speakers for you today. We'll share some health and wellness tips from the HESSCO team. We'll take a 2-minute stretch break in the middle, and we'll have some fun giving out raffle prizes. So with that, let me introduce our first speaker. So building resilience with positive psychology is what Pam Garamone is going to speak to us today. Pam Garamone is an award-winning speaker who presents positive psychology, the science of happiness, to students, educators, corporate and community programs, and employees. Through professional training and meaningful practices, Pam has found that the smallest changes make the biggest difference. You can truly become happier through the development of a new mindset and simple yet powerful exercises. Pam has shared her insights with thousands of stressed out and overburdened youth and adults who have learned that feeling happier is simple when you practice happiness habits. In addition to being an in-demand speaker, Pam is a positive psychology life coach, founder of Thrive Now Boston, a happiness incubator, and author of Be Happier, a journal. Thank you, Pam. I am going to stop my screen share now so that you can start sharing yours.
Thank you, thank you. Let's make this happen. Oh, rats. Okay, you're gonna watch. Now, hold on. For some reason, it's not showing up. This is what watching growth mindset in, all right, action. Is that working?
And we can't see your screen quite yet, Pam, no.
Okay, timeout. What is happening?
And I promise you all, we did practice this.
I know, and it worked. All right, now let's see. Here we go. Here we go. Isn't it beautiful when it works? All right, now can you see it?
Yes, we can see it. Thank you, Pam.
Right, so you can see, oh, and now I'm gonna try my fanciness over here. Full screen. Oh, I see all of you. You look so beautiful. I have a very big monitor and now I can see anybody who wants to be seen. You're on my big screen. So you look fabulous. Good morning, everyone. Whoops, now, oh, wow, what, oh, wait, it went to speaker. What happened there? All right, here we go. Here we go. All right, so we are going to get started. I'm so happy to be here. This is the quokka, and the quokka is known to be the happiest animal on earth. It is found on Rottnest Island off the coast of Australia. And when we could travel freely, people came from all over the world to take selfies with the quokka. So I wanted you to, this is how I am feeling this morning being with all of you. I'm a very happy human. So good morning. And when I think of all of you and me, I think of these penguins which endure very harsh conditions, harsh winters, and they don't eat for months sometimes, and they stand together boldly facing whatever comes their way. So I feel like this is our image now in this pandemic, us with our people boldly facing whatever comes our way. So I want to thank you, Cheryl, for inviting me back again to talk about positive psychology, the science of happiness, or how to be happier. So if you could just type in the chat, if you've seen me before, just type, yep, saw you before. If you're new and you've never seen me before, just type new. So let's just get a sense of who's already seen me and who's new. Because I think this is actually my third time speaking for HESSCO, only the other times were all live. Oh, yay. Hello, Cheryl. I love that. Okay, so it looks pretty mixed between new and have seen me before. So welcome back, people who've seen me before and new people. I hope that you find this useful and helpful to you. So now, thank you first of all for participating in the chat. This is going to be super interactive. If you've never participated in the chat before, step into the stretch zone and test it out. If you have, keep doing it, because then I feel like I'm not just talking to myself. So type yes in the chat if in the last few months since the pandemic started, you've overeaten something like maybe chocolate, ice cream, potato chips, candy, anybody coping through salt or sugar? These are my people. Yay. Okay. I'm not alone. Oh my God. When this first started, I walked to the 7-Eleven, which is near my house, and I bought Ben and Jerry's, which honestly I haven't really done in years. And I thought, well, I'm just going to eat half the pint. I'll just have half of it. Of course, if you've ever had that thought, that did not happen. I ate the whole pint. And then the next day I walked back to the 7-Eleven and did the same thing. I went and I thought, well, today I'm only going to eat half. I ate the whole thing. And then I heard about the quarantine 15 where people are gaining weight. And I said, that's not going to happen to me. So I put a stop to that. But once in a while, I still do cope with chocolate, which is my addiction. Type yes in the chat if you have looked at the people you chose to live with and thought, you again? Anybody getting kind of tired of the same people, seeing the same people every day, either on Zoom or live? Okay, yeah, I know you love your people, but you know, it is getting, I think for me, a little bit old or tired or tiring. Okay, great. So now type yes or type in the chat if you've binge watched any TV shows on Netflix or Amazon Prime, and if so, what have you binged? What are you watching? So who's spending time on TV? Anybody watching anything? For me, I'm in season 5 now of Schitt's Creek. Okay, we got Shark Week, Ozark, The Kaminsky Method, Little Fires Everywhere, Grey's Anatomy, The Crown. All right, I haven't seen any of those. CNN, oh boy, okay. Bosch, all right. So for me, in the very beginning, I did get hooked into Tiger King. I don't know if anybody else watched that. And now, like I said, my friend and I are in season 5 of Schitt's Creek, which actually won 7 Emmys. So it's super light and funny, and it's just an escape, really. So thank you again, all of you, for participating in the chat. It really helps me feel like you're with me and I'm not alone. So thank you. So now let's take a moment and think, where are you on the happiness ladder? If 1 is living your worst possible life and 10 is living your best possible life, what number would you give yourself right here, right now, the end of September 2020? What number? And you can type it in the chat if you want, or you can put it in your notes, or you can just think, where are you? Again, 1 is your worst possible life and 10 is living your best possible life. Just kind of think for a moment. Where are you? Where is your head right now? So I'm seeing 6s, 7s, 5. Let's see, what else? Usually the range is anywhere from 2. Once I got a 10, but usually it's 2 to 9. And I just want to share with you that the goal of positive psychology is not to be happy all of the time. If you were happy all of the time, you would be locked up, crazy. Does it make sense to be happy all the time? A lot of hard things are happening right now. So it doesn't really make sense that you would be happy all the time. Positive psychology means we get to feel the full range of emotions, from anxiety, stress, disappointment, sadness, grief, to joy, contentment, love, fun, and everything in between. It's permission to be human. We really should feel all of the emotions. So now I would love it if you could just type in the chat. In positive psychology, we say, how are you? How are you really? So just type in the chat, what are your 3 most frequent emotions that you felt on a daily basis since the pandemic started? What are the 3 most common emotions that you feel on a daily basis? So what do you think? Anybody want to say in the chat? What are some emotions that you feel on a daily basis during this pandemic? Give you a moment. So I'm seeing anxiety, boredom, gratitude, fear, frustration, impatience. That's worry, gratitude, fear, all the feelings. Good, good. Frustration, impatience, confusion. Yeah. Tired, bored, concerned, worry, happy, sad, worry. I'm seeing a lot of worry, worry and fear, highs and lows. Yep. So the Yale Center for Concern, Thankful, great, keep them coming. The Yale Center for Emotional Intelligence actually did a survey of 5,000 teachers amid COVID and asked them to describe their top 3 emotions. And like you, the top 3 were, or the top 5 rather, were anxious. I saw a lot of anxious in there. Fearful, I saw a ton of fear in there. Worried, I saw a lot of worry in there. Overwhelmed and sad were the top 5. And anxiety by far was the most frequent emotion that people are feeling. So you are not alone, right? Permission to be human. We really, I really want to stress that in positive psychology, we say express rather than repress. You want to be able to actually say out loud, I feel lonely, I feel concerned, I feel worried, and have somebody to talk those emotions out with, because repressing, oppressing, denying, pretending we don't have these hard emotions is not good for us. But being able to say them out loud helps them move through us and leave us. Now, let's talk resilience. Please type yes in the chat if you've ever lost someone you love, went through a bitter divorce, been cheated on, if you've ever had your heart broken, if you've ever been rejected. Those, if anybody's in that category, you are my people again. Type yes in the chat if you've ever been bullied, if you've ever lost a job, if you've ever been worried about money. Type yes in the chat if you or someone you know had a miscarriage or struggled with infertility. Type yes in the chat if you or someone you love has had to cope with mental illness, dementia, addiction, suicide, physical or emotional abuse. And if you're watching the chat like me, you can see that every single person has had some obstacle, some difficulty, some hardship, that every single person is not alone. If you're alive, you have had something hard happen to you, and maybe more than one thing. Most of us, it's more than one thing. So if you're alive, we are resilient. You already are resilient if you're still here after experiencing any one of the things I've just mentioned. So I want to share with you the definition of resilient that I'm going to be working with today with you is the capacity to adapt to stress or trauma or loss healthfully, to make wise choices in the most difficult moments. Now, if you look up resilience in the dictionary, it's going to say to bounce back from a difficulty quickly. I think that's a terrible definition. One, quickly, I think it's whatever time it takes to work through it. It shouldn't be a race. And I like this. Again, it's not that tough things don't happen. They do, to all of us. And so it's the capacity to adapt healthfully to those tough things when they occur. Not if they occur, but when they occur. And I wonder if anyone in here has ever heard of the Japanese art form called kintsugi. Kintsugi is taking ancient pottery. When it breaks, they repair it with, they mend it with this gold and silver or platinum lacquer. So the repairs are visible, yet somehow beautiful. And one of my teachers is Maria Serrois, and I like what she says about this, is that we can be broken and joyful. We can be wounded and appreciative. We can be uplifted and aware of the suffering of others. We can be worried and appreciative. We can be anxious and grateful, that we can hold different emotions at the same time. And the most resilient people are able to hold all of these different emotions at the same time, the tough and the glorious. So it's about really, again, feeling all your feelings. So if anybody in here is feeling like I'm falling apart, this is just like crazy times, that what I want to share with you is the simple positive psychology techniques are kind of like this golden lacquer. They are the things you can do. They only take 5 or 10 minutes a day, and they can sort of piece you together and hold together the tough stuff with the difficult stuff. And these positive psychology practices I share, they can kind of be like the fuel that gets you through the tougher times. So let's begin. Now, again, if you saw me before, I mentioned this, that the problem with positive psychology, which is retraining our brains to go positive, is that every single human being is born with a negativity bias. We are hardwired to go negative, and we need a lot of positive things to focus on to overcome our negativity. And I love this quote by Dr. Rick Hansen, which is like, the brain is like Teflon for the good. So when something good happens, we're like, that was good. Something hard happens and it's like Velcro, right? Some of us are hanging on to negative things that happened to us weeks ago. Some of us are hanging on to negative things that happened to us years ago. Some of us are hanging on to negative things that happened to us when we were kids. It's like Velcro for the negative, and the good stuff is like, meh. Right? So positive psychology is training our brain to look for the good things. So let's try it out and take a look at, oh yeah, sorry, I messed up a little bit. So I hope you can take a minute and see the two different images in this illusion, because it represents how positive psychology is about a shift in perception from what's wrong to what's strong, from what's wrong to what's going well. Because the same time tough stuff is happening, there's always something good happening as well that we could choose to focus on that would help us, fuel us through the tough stuff. So if you saw me before, my practice that took me from a 4 or 5 on the happiness ladder to a 7 or 8 consistently is called 3 good things. And basically what it is every night before I go to bed, I write down 3 good things that have happened to me in the last 24 hours. Sometimes it's 5, sometimes it's 7, but you have to write at least 3 good things. So I want to share my 3 good things. I shared this last time. I always put it in my slide deck because it makes me feel good. And as I always say, positive psychology is really 2 things. Make yourself feel good, make the people around you feel good, and you will feel happier. So this was a picture that a 4th grader drew of me. It says, Miss Garamone, great, cool, funny, beautiful, kind, from Aurora. And I always put this in my slide deck because it makes me feel good that this 10-year-old thought these really nice things about me. But is my head really that big? You know, I kind of feel like she maybe saw ego, or you know how little kids can see things. And as I was sharing this, I was doing a teacher training, and one of the teachers gave me this drawing of me at the end of my talk, and it says, Pam, just as great, still cool, motivating, funny, fantastic to be with. And I share this with you because I always say that people are starving to feel seen, valued, and appreciated. And just that this teacher did that for me, it made me feel so good. And this was a year or so ago that this happened. And Mark Twain has a great quote, which is, we can live off a compliment. I can't remember if he said months or years, but for me, it's years. You know, because we're so stingy with the compliments. We're so, what Sean Acor, who wrote The Happiness Advantage, said, we're misers of praise. We're stingy with our praise. And so when we do get it, it feels really good and we remember it. And I want to offer this challenge to you and invite you to do this before the end of this day, which we start out with pretty early. You have a lot of time to think of 3 people that you can appreciate, that you could maybe draw a picture of and notice their strengths. Or maybe you just write a text, or you send an email, or make a phone call and notice somebody's strengths and be specific. And don't just say, oh, I love you, you're so great, so proud of you, but tell them specifically. Are they funny? Did they help you with something? Do you admire how organized they are, or things they've achieved? So again, think of 3 people. If it's only 1, hey, go for it. If it's 2, fantastic. If you can get to 3, fantastic. Just give it a try. And again, the challenge is before this day ends to give someone a compliment, a specific compliment that notices one of their strengths. Now, if you are on the receiving end of one of these compliments, what you want to do is just what we all know we should do, is say, thank you. Don't say, oh, it was nothing, or dismiss it or diss it. Just say, hey, thank you. I really appreciate that you noticed that. And really practice taking in a compliment, which can be difficult for folks. Now, the next good thing I would like to share is a cute video. And what the research shows, that watching cute videos is a happiness booster. So check this out. If you thought that was cute, just write LOL, or like, thank you, Norfolk County, love, just so I know we're on the same page. Watching cute videos is a happiness booster, and sharing them with other people makes them feel good too. The next thing, awesome. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Don. Yay. So the next thing I'd like to share with you, the third good thing I want to share is, back at the beginning of the pandemic, when I had more time than I knew what to do with, I finally finished this book. It's really a journal. It's called Be Happier. And if you would like to receive a complimentary copy, I'm going to randomly select 2 people in this audience to mail out a complimentary copy of this journal. So if you put your email in the chat, then I will, again, pick 2 to send out a complimentary copy of my journal. So if you want to start practicing 3 good things, this is a great place to practice it, or it makes a good gift for someone else. And I want to share, my mentor was Tal Ben-Shahar at Harvard. He became famous because he taught the most popular class at Harvard, How to Be Happier. And I took that, his course, probably around, I don't know, 7 years ago. And I really wanted him to write a testimonial on the cover of my book, but I didn't even know if he remembered me. So my friend was like, just ask, what could it hurt? So I sent him an email, and this Professor Tal Ben-Shahar is so classy and so cool. He responded to my email within a day, within 24 hours. Said, I remember you, I would be happy to write a testimonial. So on the front cover, I'm so happy that I have Tal's testimonial. You will all be in my journal tonight. I will say I was back at HESSCO. They laughed at all my jokes. They loved it. They tried out some new things, and we had a good time together. So you will all be in my journal tonight. And now I'd love for you to think about, what are 3 good things that have happened to you in the last 24 hours? They don't have to be big. It could be you're here right now. It could be that the sun is shining and you sat outside and felt the sun. So, and just because we're kind of short on time, just maybe write 1 good thing that's happened to you in the last 24 hours. And again, doesn't mean tough stuff isn't happening, but at the same time tough stuff is happening, there's always something good we could choose to focus on if we wanted to. So I'm seeing healthy takeout. Wow, that sounds like a oxymoron, but I trust that. Sleep is a happiness booster. Your kids are healthy and went back to school. Yay. Coffee, happiness booster. Friends, social connections. Woke up feeling awesome. Awesome. Walking the dog, obviously pets are happiness boosters. Exercise is a happiness booster. Great talk with my mom. That's awesome. Coffee, got it right this morning. Lunch and enjoying the warm weather. So these are all fantastic, beautiful things. Thank you so much for sharing again. Focusing on things, focusing on the good is a skill. It takes practice. It doesn't come naturally to us. And resilient people focus on things they can change, not on things they can't change. Resilient people don't diminish the negative, but they tune into the good. It's intentional, it's deliberate, it's an ongoing effort to look for the good. So another way to, oh, this is Tal, the professor that I mentioned, and he's famous for this quote: when we appreciate the good appreciates. The more we start looking for good things, the more good things we start to see. They were always there. Another way to do this, Maria Sawa, again, one of my teachers, she said what she does at the end of her day is she runs through the day and she writes down the best moment of the day. And I don't usually do it this way. I do three good things, but I did do it one day about a week ago because a friend of mine, I was at a socially distanced, safe party, and I had to go because I had to do a talk the next day and prepare for it. And Justin said to me, "Oh, Pam, can't you stay? Like, you can go do your work and come back for the bonfire." And just that he really wanted me to stay, that just made me feel so good. So that night I did write best moment of the day when Justin asked me to stay, even though I couldn't. It just made me feel warm all over. So the best moment of the day could be a practice that you try out. And another thing that Maria says is, no matter how dark your day is, there is always a best moment. Every day, no matter how dark, has a best moment. So let's talk a little bit more about resilience. Think of a time when you were resilient. Who and or what helped you to be resilient? I'm going to share a quick story about a time I was resilient. I would love it if somebody either typed in the chat, or if you want to come on camera and tell us about a time you overcame an obstacle and you bounced back from a difficult thing, or you responded helpfully to something hard that happened. So the example I want to share with you is a few years ago, feels like yesterday. A few years ago, I had a very painful breakup with my partner. It was crushing to me, and it really it took me years to get over it. And if I think about it, it still hurts. But what helped me get through it are my friends. My friends were there. I was able to put my head on their lap and cry. I was there. They were there for me if we just went for a walk and listened to me talk about it forever. So I just don't know what would have helped me more than just having my friends support and love me through that really painful time. So anybody here want to get on camera and share a time they overcome something and what or who helped them? Or you could type it in the chat. See if anybody's brave enough to come on camera. Anyone? Okay. That's fine. I don't see anyone. You could also write it in the chat if you would like. So I want to share the research that shows what helps us the most to be more resilient in tough times is people. We need People, social connection is the #1 happiness booster, and it turns out it's also the #1 thing that helps people get through tough times, whether it's family or friends, maybe even pets, right? Any kind of connection helps us. And this is, again, the research that shows that when asked what helped them succeed against the odds, resilient children, youth, and adults overwhelmingly and exclusively gave the credit to members of their family, neighbors, teachers, mentors, and voluntary associations and church groups. We need people. I love this quote by Francis Bacon: "Friendship doubles joy and cuts grief in half." Would you agree? That if we have somebody to talk to say I'm stressed, to say I'm worried, to say I'm afraid what's going to happen, that can help us move through those emotions. Social connections was hands down the greatest predictor of thriving academically and socially at Harvard. It is the strongest predictor of well-being, optimism, a buffer against depression. It helps us to deal with stress. The highest achievers have the most social connections. And that's why an organization like HESSCO and having all of you here is so important, because it gives you that opportunity to have connections, to talk to other people, to learn together with other people, to be in community. It is the #1 happiness booster. It is the #1 factor in being resilient. I want to share this study at Harvard as well, where they had people looking at a mountain and asked them how difficult it was. And what they found was if they had a friend standing next to them, they thought the mountain was 30% more doable, more climbable. Meaning when we're facing an obstacle, if we have some support, somebody with us, it seems easier to overcome. And in this study, even if the friend was 10 feet away with their back to them, they still felt that they 30% more doable, that they could do it. So just knowing that we have support around us makes obstacles seem more doable. But the problem is, please type in the chat if you would rather give help to someone or ask for help. So just write give or ask. Would you rather give help to somebody or ask for help? Thank you all for participating. And every time I ask this, same thing that is happening here, every single person is like, I'd rather give help. I don't want to ask for help, because what if then that means I don't know. What if they judge me? What if they say, wow, how could she not know that? Or how could they not know that, right? So we all would probably rather give help, but asking for help it's a practice, and it's something that we need to try. And just look how many people want to give help. So if you're asking for help, you're actually making somebody else feel good, because we like being able to help other people. So not only are you making somebody else feel good, you could struggle. Let's say, for example, with Zoom, you don't know how to do it and you struggle. You could try to figure it out yourself for hours, or you could ask somebody who knows how to do it. They could teach you in 10 minutes and you would be done with it. You'd know it. So the mindset is to change from I can do it all by myself to I need others, and to be willing to ask for help, because it just makes things so much easier. Just remember, people love giving help. So if you're asking, you're making them feel good by being able to help you. I want to share this story. This is another practice, again, in becoming more resilient. It's called a cognitive reframe. And basically what it is to ask yourself, is what I'm doing or thinking or saying helping or harming me? Now, Dr. Lucy Hone, she was going on a camping trip with her family. She had 3 kids, and they were going with their best friends. And at the very last minute, I think she was 12-year-old daughter said, Mom, oh Mom, can I go with Ella? I want to go in her car. Ella was her best friend. And her mom said, sure, you can go. And they were all going to the same place. And her daughter gets in the car, and that car gets in a car accident. The mom of Ella and this woman, Dr. Hohn's daughter, were killed instantly in this crash. So Dr. Hohn lost her daughter, and of course she was crushed, she was devastated, and she found that she just kept looking at pictures of her daughter days over and over for hours and hours. She just kept pouring through pictures of her daughter. And then she realized she had 2 boys, they were teenagers, and that they needed her too. So she asked herself, is what I'm doing helping or harming me? Is pouring over these pictures helping me or harming me? And so she decided to put the pictures away and be there for her other boys. It's just something, again, to think about. And one other thing that Dr. Hohn said is that hard things happen to everyone. And as you saw in the beginning, when I went through the list of things, every single person has had something difficult happens. And she says, we need to get that poop happens. She didn't say poop, but I didn't want to swear in my talk. And to say not why me, why did this happen to me, not why me, but why not me? And she said, terrible things can happen to you just like they do to everyone else. And so it's reframing our thinking to, given how it is, given that this thing happened, what is the next best thing I can do? And for Dr. Hohn, the next best thing was to put the pictures away and to focus on the children that were there. So given how it is, given the pandemic, given that we're doing this virtual talk instead of being live, given whatever it is, whatever's stressing you, what is the next best thing I can do? Resilient people focus on what they can change, not what they cannot change. So I hope that resonates with you. Dr. Tal Ben-Shahar, again, my Harvard professor, what he says is, while things don't always happen for the best, we can still choose to make the best of things that happen. While things don't always happen for the best, we can still choose to make the best of things that happen. The last thing I'd like to share with you that makes us happier and more resilient is research out of Stanford University by Kelly McGonigal. If you've never heard of her and if you like TED Talks, you must watch her TED Talk on stress. And in her newest research, she has a new TED Talk out, Kelly McGonigal, on the one thing that will dramatically improve your life. So please type yes in the chat if you would like to know what that one thing is. The one thing that will dramatically improve your life. This is out of Stanford University, so it has to be real and it has to be true, right? All right, so everybody is with me? What Kelly McGonigal found. Now, if you saw me before, I did talk about power poses and Amy Cuddy's research out of Harvard, where she found that how we hold our bodies makes a difference in how we feel. If you make yourself bigger, either in the victory pose or the superhero pose, for 2 minutes, it increases our confidence and it makes us feel good. When we make ourselves bigger, it makes us more confident and makes us feel good. So building off of that research, Kelly McGonigal found, and in her latest book, it's called The Joy of Movement, she found that people who are happier are more physically active. People who are more physically active have better relationships. They find more meaning in life. They are at less risk for depression and loneliness. She says, we were born to move. We are the best version of ourselves when we are moving, when we are physically and regularly active. And people who are regularly active have brains and nervous systems that are more sensitive to pleasure and are more resilient to stress. We thrive when we are active. Our brains work best in active bodies. And guess what, folks? The kind of activity that she found gives us the biggest rush of feel-good chemicals in our brains, endorphins, dopamine, serotonin. The biggest rush of feel-good chemicals is dancing. So how many people love dancing? Just put yes in the chat here if you love music and you love moving your body. Now what she found in her research is in the dancing. All right, awesome, hell yeah. Okay, Marcy, awesome, love it. There are certain moves that if you do them again will give you the biggest rush of feel-good chemicals, and they are keeping the beat, so snapping your fingers, clapping, bouncing, so bouncing is kind of right like this, stomping, that means lifting your feet up like sort of marching. Another one is swaying, right? Another one is she calls the V spread. So it's kind of like the victory pose. It's making yourself big and the raising your arms in the V. And the expressive moment, which means this one is maybe if you like to play air guitar or if you like to sing, whatever your signature move is, that's the expressive moment. And what she found is if you do each of these different things, snap your fingers, clap, keep the beat, bounce, sway, the V, the expressive moment. If you do each one of these for 30 seconds, I'm already getting the rush. Just doing that, I just felt the tingles in my brain. Honest to God, like just thinking about it, because it's something that I do now, my brain, when I'm even talking about it, I get all these tingly sensations in my brain. Anyway, so doing each move for 30 seconds. Now, here's the thing. If you want to dramatically improve your life, this is a new happiness habit. Every day, for 10 minutes, even if it was 5, I mean, her research shows 10, but even if it's 5, for 10 minutes a day, you listen to music and you do any of these moves I just mentioned. So if you could, please type in, do you have a power song? Do you have a song that when you hear it, it lights you up, it makes you smile, it makes you want to move, it just makes you feel good? And if you do, type that song in the chat. Let's kind of see what songs people are jamming to or getting pumped up to. So sit, stand next so I can move with you. Awesome, because we're about to move, Robert. I'm looking at you. I hope I can see you. Is that you? Yay! Awesome. We are family. Okay, what are some other songs? Dancing in September. Anything by Queen. Awesome. What else? What are songs that make you feel good, that make you get those endorphins in your brain going? Anything by Khalid. All right. What else, people? Type it in. Let me see. And if you hadn't thought of any of these, you might want to add them to your power list. I remember when I was a teacher, I lived 30 minutes from the school. And I don't know if anybody here remembers cassette tapes. I used to make, I had a cassette tape of all my favorite songs and I would listen to it on my drive to school. And when I got to the school, I was so amped up and ready to go. All right, folks, so I think hearing about something, it's important to know it, but unless you actually try it out, I really don't think you're gonna feel dramatically better. So please, if you can, either in your chair or stand up, let's see if Kelly McGonigal's research, whoops, is correct. Let's give it a try. See if you can hear this. Bouncing, right? Anybody dancing with me? Let me see if anyone else is dancing. Okay, a few other people, nice. All right. hardest thing I've had to do all day is turn off In the Mood by Glenn Miller, one of my father's favorite songs. And every time I hear it, I feel a connection to my papa from wherever he is in the universe. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is dance to your favorite song will dramatically improve your life. And if it's with other people, that is the biggest rush of feel-good chemicals in your brain. It bonds us to other people. You know, when you're dancing and moving with other people, it is, again, the one thing that will dramatically improve your life. So I highly encourage you. A lot of folks have been sending me emails saying that they've been doing dance parties on Zoom with their family members or teachers with their students. So again, give it a try and see if it makes you feel happier. And when we feel happier, we're more resilient. And the last thing I want to end with is gratitude. Now, we all know that being grateful is a happiness booster, but turns out it also helps us to be more resilient. My gratitude practice is in my journal. Every night I write down 5 things I'm grateful for every day. Anytime you're practicing gratitude, the trick is for it to be specific. It's just not enough to say, I'm grateful for my friends, family, job, car, house. No increase in happiness if you do it that way. What you need to do instead is be specific. For example, I'm so grateful that I had a conversation with my friend Jeff that lasted 3 hours, and we didn't even know we were on the phone that long. And it just felt so good to connect with him. So it's specific, and you're actually feeling the emotion as you're writing it. So I don't know if anybody in here wants to write down something in the chat that you're grateful for, or maybe somebody in this group that you're grateful for who maybe helped you overcome an obstacle or was just there for you, and you'd like to take this moment. This could be one of your 3 appreciations, the challenge. So does anybody want to acknowledge somebody either on camera or in the chat? Anyone? Grateful for this time with all of you. Awesome, Roberts. Anyone else want to express a gratitude? Okay. Grateful for Susan, who helped put this together. Yay. Grateful for friends. Yeah. I'm feeling grateful. Yay. Grateful to Carrie for representing COA directors. Yay, Susan. Grateful for my kids who make me laugh during the pandemic. Awesome. Yeah. So I'm just recognizing the time. I just want to end by saying a couple things. One, and I've said this before, if you've seen me before, knowledge is not power. Knowledge is potential power. You've heard me talk about different things you could do to become more resilient and happier. If you actually never try any of these things out, you will not be happier or more resilient. Knowledge is not power, it's potential power. So I hope that you take one of the things you heard today and make it a new happiness habit, something that you do every day. It's part of your identity. You don't even think twice. It's just like, this is who I am. This is what I do. So whether it's gratitude practice, whether it's dancing to music with other people or just yourself, whether it's 3 good things, whether it's appreciating or valuing other people, whether it's noticing when you're going negative, the negativity bias, and just saying, okay, I see you, and looking for something good to focus on, whether it is, I think those are all the things that I spoke about. So just kind of thinking, which one of these will I put into practice? And I want to, again, thank you. We have maybe 1 minute. If anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer any questions about resilience or gratitude, or your big life question you've always wanted answered. I have the answers. I'm just kidding. Who am I? Any questions? Yeah, so if there's no questions, I'd love it if we could just end by what was your biggest takeaway? Who's going to win? We are not going there, Don. This is a happiness talk. Hello. The biggest takeaway. So what was one of the things that I mentioned that resonated with you that you might actually try out, or maybe you already do and you want to share that? What is the biggest takeaway from what you heard me talk about today? Just kind of help me out. What will you remember? What maybe will you share with somebody else? And yep, all we have is now. So dance for 10 minutes a day. Awesome. What else? What resonated with you? What's going to stick with you? What are you actually going to try? 3 good things. Awesome. What else? Biggest takeaway. Now, nobody else got anything from this talk? Sad day. How to make my brain happy. Awesome. Music. I'm going to dance more, keep moving at my desk. Beautiful. Life is good and positive. It's key to health and happiness. Yes, yes, Terry. Expressing my gratitude, remembering how vital. Oh yeah, that was the other one. Social connection. It's reaching out to other people. Asking for help was another one that I shared. What was the name of the Australian critter? The quokka. Quakka. Check it out. Our seniors have been practicing a lot of what you've been saying for years, dancing, exercising, and socializing. There's nothing better than that, seniors, for happiness and resiliency. I love it. All right, so again, if you would like to get on my email list, I share happiness tips every now and then. You can put your email in the chat, and again, I'll send out some happiness tips. And if you'd like to have an opportunity to win one of my journals, again, if you put your email in the chat, I will randomly select 2 people to send a happiness journal to. So if you're on social media, I'd love it if you could follow me on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter at Pam Guermon. And thank you, all of you, for being here, for spending this time with me. I am honored and so happy to be with you. And I just want to end by saying, remember, positive psychology is 2 things. Make yourself feel good. Make the people around you feel good. And you will feel happier, less stressed, and more resilient. So thank you, Cheryl, and thank you all for being here today. Yay.
Thank you so much, Pam. That was wonderful. We really, really appreciate having you here. So
thank you. Thank you. My pleasure.
All right. So now I will go ahead and start sharing my screen. And
all right. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Pam. We
Welcome.
really appreciate it. And I know that many people will be doing new things as of today to make sure that they are happy.
Woohoo! All right. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you. Bye-bye, Pam. Bye. All right, so now the next part of our program, we're just going to take a little bit of a break here in terms of speakers, and just you'll listen to me for a minute. And it's a quick healthy aging tip from the HESSCO team. So usually at this event, when we're in person, we actually have a flu shot clinic going on at the event, and we didn't want to lose sight of how important the flu shot is this year. I absolutely loved this message, the picture you can see on your screen that the CDC put out for this year. Mask up, lather up, sleeve up. I thought that is quite appropriate. So these are places in the HESSCO service area where you can get your flu shot. If you got your flu shot at a place not listed here, please feel free to put it in the chat. Help others find the places that they can go to get their flu shot if you have not already done so. Okay, another healthy aging tip. Staying connected digitally. So this is something else that we wanted to make sure we touched upon today. We know that people today during this pandemic do need to find new ways to stay connected to families and friends. We know that people are trying to do this digitally, and for some this is a little new. And we wanted to share these 3 websites where you can have tutorials, videos, information on how to use different programs and get a little more tech savvy. There's a Tech Academy at AARP. If you go to aarp.org and go into the search and put in that Tech, T-E-K, Academy, you'll come up with all different programs. The Goodwill Foundation has many free classes, and you can learn at your own pace online through those classes. And the website is edu.gcfglobal.org. And then another one is techboomers.com, which is a free website that teaches seniors basic computer skills. And they have a lot of easy to follow tutorials about how to use really hundreds of different sites and some of the very popular sites that are out there. So we just wanted to share this healthy aging tip, and I do want to give a little shout out to the Norfolk County Retired Senior Volunteer Program, the RSVP program, for being on top of this issue. They shared some of these resources out to people, and that gave us the idea of sharing them here with you. So thank you to Norfolk County RSVP. So thank you everyone for kind of staying with us here. We're going to give away our first raffle prize of the event. So I pulled names last night, and then I pulled backup names, and because you have to be present to win. And so thankfully we've got some of our winners are here, are present. So the first prize that we're going to give away is a nice hearty mum from Lambert's. The Lambert's Rainbow Market donated this to us, and the first prize goes to Linda McCoy. So Linda, I know that you are on today, and Susan Longmore from HESSCO will be reaching out to arrange a contactless delivery for that. Our second raffle prize is a bountiful basket from Trader Joe's in Foxborough. And that prize will go to Madhusudan Shah. So Madhusudan, and I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, but that you will be receiving an email from Susan Longmore, and she will arrange delivery for your beautiful basket and your beautiful mums. So thank you, both of you, for attending, and see you get prizes when you attend. So thank you. All right, next on this, we did decide to take a 2-minute intermission and stretch break because I know it's hard for people to stay on for 2 hours. So we'll just go ahead and take a quick 2-minute break. Thank you, everybody. All right, that's our 2-minute stretch break. So hopefully everybody's going to be coming back to their computer screens now, and we will go ahead and get restarted. So our next, what's up next for our event here is to introduce our next speaker, who is Kerry McCarthy. And really, we asked Kerry McCarthy to speak today because the role of the Senior Center and Council on Aging has never been more important. Kerry McCarthy has been with the town of Norwood since 2012, first as the outreach coordinator, and she became director in 2014. She serves on the Community Benefits Advisory Committee for the Norwood Hospital, and before coming to Norwood Kerry was the social service coordinator for Cooperative Elder Services. Kerry has also been an integral part of Norwood initiating an age-friendly campaign. So thank you for joining us, Kerry. And I'm going to go through the process, Kerry, of stopping the share of my screen so that you can share your screen. Thank you.
All right, great, thank you. All right, can you see that?
Yes, we can see that. Thank you.
All right, well, welcome everyone. Thank you so much, Cheryl and HESSCO, for having me here today. That was a great presentation by Pam, and I think we really all needed that in today's world. So I'm happy to be here today. I'm representing not only the town of Norwood, but I think all of the Council on Agings in the HESSCO territory. I know our roles have drastically changed in the last 6 months, and I'd like to just go over what we've been doing since March and where do we go from here. So what is a senior center? Senior centers are a welcoming place for older adults who wish to remain independent in their community. Senior centers provide support services to elders, family, and caregivers in the community. We are often the community's only social service agency assisting with the needs of elders. And depending on the size of the center, the number of daily participants can range from 50 to 200. There's a saying that we hear a lot in the MCOA, which is our Mass Council on Aging, and they say that if you've been to one senior center, you really only have been to one senior center. And at first I didn't really know what that meant, but when you look at the different physical space and program offerings, you can understand why each one is really different. So March of 2020, there had been reports since the beginning of the year regarding a new virus coming from China, but for us, it did not really hit until early March here in Norwood when 11 of our town officials had to go into quarantine because they were exposed to someone at an event in Norwood that had been at the now famous Biogen conference. In fact, our town manager was one of the first people in Norwood to test positive for COVID-19. So here we are. This is our St. Patrick's Day dinner on March 10th. We were advised by the health department at that time it was still okay to have the event. We had 175 seniors signed up for the event. We did have some people cancel that day, but the party did go on. And as we were exiting the event, Charlie Baker was on declaring a state of emergency. So I think we all knew that day that things were going to change dramatically. And on that, within just a few days, most centers in the area were closed to programming. So where did we go from there? Changing roles and needs. Immediate needs were shopping. People were petrified to go to the grocery stores. They needed to get their prescriptions picked up. We needed to get outreach. We really needed to decide who needed what, who had the capacity for technology, who just needed phone calls, telephone insurance. All of a sudden, cable television became one of our greatest needs and one of our greatest assets. Virtual program came into play, and transportation. So we really had to decide what was going to be our priorities And I think I can speak for most of the senior center directors. Our first priority was reaching out to people who we knew were going to be isolated and didn't have a lot of family members supporting them, or had, lived alone. So here in Norwood, we really became the social service center for the whole town. People were getting laid off. People were having food insecurities. So we here became the social service for all ages, not just the seniors. That has since changed. We're back to serving just the seniors, but we really have, we really did need to help the whole community. HESSCO Elder Services. So our aging access point for our older adults in this community is HESSCO. And they are, and still, they were and still are the lifeline for us Council on Aging directors. So I look back, and it was actually March 17th that Cheryl sent out that first email saying, hey, we need to have some, we're here for you. We can do daily calls. So we did some daily calls at first, and then we went to twice a week. And now we're, fortunately, the need is just twice a month. But Meals on Wheels through HESSCO, I think, doubled in some towns. People were afraid to go out. They needed to get meals. So HESSCO, really, I know here in Norwood, I think it increased 1 week by 40 participants. So we were fortunate to get other people to come in and drive and deliver those meals. Jane Davis with the food donations, she was fabulous. I don't think anyone did without during those first few months of the pandemic, because the HESSCO was, it may have not have been the meals what they're used to, but everybody had a meal, and HESSCO was amazing at doing that. They gave us caregiver support. They advocated for us. Sometimes our phone calls were just amongst us, maybe venting or complaining, but they let us have that time as directors all be together, and we are really grateful for that. And they also provide us with our SHINE, which is the serving health insurance needs of everybody. They have now provided our counselors back to do remote appointments, especially with open enrollment coming. So I don't know that we as senior center directors could have gotten through this without HESSCO, so we are definitely appreciative of you all. So here are some of the pictures of things that HESSCO did. The grab and go lunches. That's the Walpole menu and Westwood's kitchen. The people getting the lunches prepared. And then we have a little grab and go luncheon out there for some of our seniors in July. So then how do we bring our center into your home? So everybody's been told to stay home now. So it's March and April, and we need to get our seniors moving, socializing, and interacting again. So we have some virtual programming. That's Canton. That is, they do a lot of stuff on virtual programming in our local cable TVs. The local cable televisions have been amazing with all our communities in sharing exercise videos, sharing educational events. We really come together, all the different communities. We immediately, I think cable television was one of the first things we went to. We got all our exercise instructors into our facilities to tape a program, and those exercise classes continue to be shown daily in our community and mostly others. In Norwood, we didn't do a lot of virtual programming at first, just because we really had to do so many other things. And I'll be honest, a lot of our people are not really great on virtual programming. We're learning now. We're getting ready for the winter. We know that a virtual program is really going to be valuable during the winter. So we're working on that. And fortunately, we have each other to share our events, which has been very helpful. So late spring and early summer, we are hearing what is the new normal. So Massachusetts is beginning to reopen. Some older adults are eager to get back to their center, but many are afraid. I would have, 5 phone calls saying, when are we opening? When are we opening? And then their adult children would call and say, don't you dare open. So it's been it's been quite a challenge. We're really now worried about social and physical isolation. People are panicked because their taxes are due July 15th, and the AARP tax preparers that come to our centers are still not able to return to the centers. Some of us were fortunate that we did get some preparers back, but some centers did not. So there was a panic on that. And then all the new public health guidelines. So we were really trying to collectively get through everything together. And we all relied on each other to do that. As soon as Charlie Baker said that it was okay to have outdoor exercise, everybody went off with walking groups. It was great. We all, everybody did their own format of walking groups, whether it was at their center, at a, this is the bottom screen, picture is up at Norwood High School. Our exercise instructor is continuing that 3 days a week. So we do continue to do outdoor activities, but walking was definitely one of the first things that everyone felt it was safe to go back to. And now things are getting a little bit back to normal by mid to late summer, and outdoor exercise classes are taking off. And they're still going today. These are some of the different centers in their way of doing exercise classes. As you can see, parking lots are the new classroom, and they worked out great. Here in Norwood, we were fortunate that our parking lot was being redone in May, so we would be able to start really being safe out there and without the potholes and stuff. And as you can see, everyone's doing what they can to keep their older adults moving. Outdoor programming. This was our first outdoor event here at the Norwood Senior Center. We had the Swing Fever Trio. And because of the guidelines, we could only have 49 people, including myself would be 50. So that was tough. We have to count the band members and anybody that was actually in the parking lot enclosure. So with the guidelines, it's tough, but we're doing what we need to do. And that was just one of the new tables. I think every center has now invested in a lot of outdoor furniture and tents. And here's some more outdoor programming that some of the centers have done. In Foxborough, they have done some off-site activities. And that is one of the tent they bought. Foxborough got a 60 by 40 tent, and they're able to do most of their activities outside, which is great. And there's some more activities being done outside. As you can see, people are either socially distanced or they're really good about wearing their masks. I do not find that it's been a problem here at the Norwood Senior Center with people following the guidelines. So our big concern is now, where do we go from here? How has the Senior Centers changed? We here in Norwood typically have between 100 and 175 people here at the Senior Center. I checked last year at this time. Today we would have had, by 10 o'clock this morning, we would have had 101 people already into the center. So right now we have 16. We're not allowed to have, we have programming that you have to pre-register for, and I think when all the other directors, if they want to speak at the end, I think that's where it is happening. Some centers are closed completely still. Some centers are doing just outdoor programming. Fortunately, here in Norwood, we do have a very, very large room that we're able to have 25 people in, and they're all socially distanced. But our exercise classes that had gone from 60 or 70 people are now down to 16. So where are we going to go from here? We're going to have to really rely on social media. I know here in Norwood, we try to share as much as the neighboring town social media as well, so that we can share resources. Technology, thank you so much, Cheryl, for sharing those sites that people can learn about technology, because we really need to get some people that information, because they're really struggling. Zoom has become quite popular. Some of our seniors, really do not like it. They do not want to be on technology. They want in person. So that's quite a struggle, and we're going to try to change that mindset a little bit going towards the winter. Mailings and phone calls, we will continue to do mailings, just a friendly little card. We continue to do phone calls, and we'll continue that. I think all the directors can agree that outreach phone calls have been very helpful because we can find out what people actually do need and refer them to the resources, whether it's Meals on Wheels or a caregiver. Neighbors helping neighbors. I think that a lot of the communities have social media groups where younger folks in town are agreeing to help out their seniors. I know the other day a senior needed a love seat moved out of her home, and we put it on our Neighbors Helping Neighbors Facebook page. And within a half an hour, 2 individuals were at their home moving out the love seat. So I think that really relying on your community is going to be really important, especially coming up in this winter. And I think it's very important to have support from our town officials. We've been very fortunate here, working hand in hand with our public health director and our town manager, as well as our COA board, on what we can and cannot do and what the needs are for the seniors, whether we should buy a tent, whether we should get more furniture, whether we need more gift cards for food insecurity. So I think if we don't have a support from our town officials, then we really can't do much for our residents. And last is just keeping informed. We really need to find a way that we are reaching everybody. And we can't just reach the people who have a Facebook page or an email address. We really need to try to find a way to reach out to people who are socially isolated, homebound, disabled, really do not have any resources from HESSCO, really have never been a participant at our senior center. So I think that is going to be our biggest challenge, but I think we'll get through it. So I'll open up for the other directors to maybe mention anything, but this is a group of us from all the area council on agings, showing you that we're all masking up to try to keep you all safe and well. And I will end on that and open it up if anybody has any questions.
I also, this is Cheryl. What I'll add is that I know we have in our audience today Sherry Norman from the Norfolk COA, and I think I saw Kathy Medeiros from the Sharon COA. So certainly we've got several directors here who can answer any questions, and I'll kick it off with a question if that's okay. If we can just kind of touch upon technology for a minute. And one of the things that on those websites I kind of realize is the catch-22 is that you have to have some tech savvy to be able to go to those websites to learn more. For anyone that's an absolute beginner, do any of the senior centers that you know of have any programs going on, or anything that you can suggest or that has worked well in the past?
We here in Norwood had a computer club. So I've been reaching out to the 2 people who ran that computer club, and they've been helping people who are getting kind of stuck. So they've been doing phone calls, or they'll meet out here in our parking lot with their iPad and try to find the hotspot to work with it. But I think going forward, getting some iPads to loan out to people to get through the winter, I think is going to be important as well. So not only teaching them technology, getting them that technology is going to be important as well.
And I will also mention from HESSCO as well that we are piloting. We've gotten some iPads in, and we're in the process of getting them all set up to be able to. We could potentially loan some iPads out, and we are also been working with Comcast to be able to offer internet access for people who had not currently have internet access. So it sounds as though between HESSCO and senior centers, we do have some good resources out there And I don't know if Sherry or Kathy, if you have any other thoughts on that issue of technology.
So I think, like Carrie, we have, it's a mixed bag as far as people who feel comfortable with it. And we have tried a couple of different things to try to get people's tools around that. One is actually another way we work with our local cable TV. They will help people, one-on-one. And this is perfect timing because I've been meeting with them this afternoon because I'm going to start doing a monthly program. kind of kicked myself in the, they've been trying to get me to do it since I got here almost 2 years ago. So, it's a good time. We have a little bit of bandwidth. So I'm going to force myself to, take on a new challenge. And so I'm going to put that on my agenda to talk to them about as far as, other ways we can help our seniors who need more support around technology.
And in Sharon, we have a computer tutor who will work one-on-one with people. We're looking to work with, I believe it's the Spark group, which is substance abuse. They have a grant, so they're looking to get tablets to loan out to people. So we're trying to determine, or they're trying to determine the protocol so that we can loan these out. But we've been trying to help people over the phone, and we're doing the best we can. And the hard part is it's reaching out to those people who don't really have the access but would like to get involved. So this is where we're hoping the tablets might come in play.
That's great. Any other questions? You can either put them in the chat or unmute yourself and ask. We have, 3 Council on Aging directors here, and certainly would love to answer any questions. All right. So I'm not seeing any other questions pop up in the chat, or I'm not hearing anyone or seeing anyone unmute themselves. So what I think we'll do is I'll just go ahead and thank Kerry McCarthy for being able to present here today, and actually thank you so much for getting the information as well from all of your counterparts across the HESSCO area in representing all of the CUAs and senior centers in our area. Thank you so much, Kerry, and thank you, Kathy, and thank you, Sherry, for chiming in. And please feel free to still put any questions you might have for anyone in the chat, and we'll be glad to continue to address them. So now, what I'm going to do is start sharing my screen again. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that people are muted. And I go ahead here. So thank you, Kerry McCarthy. Thank you also, Sherry and Kathy, for being here as well. So next on our agenda, we have another healthy aging tip from HESSCO team. This is about exercise during the pandemic. And again, following Kerry, Kathy, and Sherry, it's important to note, to actually find out and look at what your senior center is doing. So they may be offering classes on Zoom, on local cable, television, outdoors and indoors with space requirements. So make sure you're checking in with them. We also wanted to share that the YMCA 360 is currently doing these online health and fitness videos for active older adults. And right now during the pandemic, the YMCA 360 is completely free to everyone. So you can go onto ymca360.org and find out about all of their different classes. And then the National Institute on Aging has 12 different video fitness routines targeting different areas. It's specifically for older adults, and they are free workout videos. And you can go there on the Go for Life website. It's goforlife.nia.nih.gov/workout videos. So those are some healthy aging tips. And I also wanted to mention, if we check the chat, First of all, if you have any other exercise tips that you want to put in the chat, please do so. We'd love to hear them, and then we'll share them with everybody. But also, if I did see in the chat that there was a flu clinic at the Norfolk Senior Center October 7th from 9 to 12, and it's for Norfolk residents aged 9 and up. So if you are a Norfolk resident, please be sure to find out more information about that and get your flu shot. Thank you, Sherry, for posting that. And so put your exercise tips in the chat as well. If you know of any resources, please share. And then here's another age well, healthy aging tip that we wanted to share. And this is sort of those 5 pandemic quick tips for when you're anxious. And this is really about when those worried thoughts, you know, when Pam was talking to us and she mentioned, you know, asked us to talk about what we've been thinking about, and a lot of people had anxiety, worry on there. And when it starts to creep in a little too much, here are 5 quick things that you can do. And again, I didn't actually know that Pam was going to talk about music so much, but listen to music is the first quick tip. And sometimes the music is to help you relax, and sometimes it's help you to get more energized. So choose the music for your mood. Going through old photographs, it can be a really fun way to reminisce. Go to some of those tech classes that we just talked about if you need help figuring out how to share them digitally with family and friends. Phone a friend. So this is old school technology. We can all do this. Phone a friend, catch up with those with whom you have lost touch. Take a walk. Again, I didn't realize how much Pam was going to emphasize that need for exercise and what that can do, that movement can do in terms of your happiness. But we've all known for a long time now that going out for a walk can really clear your head. It gets the blood circulating, the heart pumping, and it really does work. And do this especially now while the weather allows. And try deep breathing exercises. I actually loved this quote that I found about deep breathing exercises. Deep breaths are like little love notes for your body. I had never heard that before, so I thought that's a great thing to share. So please put in the chat if there is something else that you are doing that helps sort of keep that anxiety and worry from creeping in. We'd love to share them with the whole group. I know one of the things that some people have done, myself included at times, is sometimes it's limiting the news at times. You know, sometimes it's turning off the news is really helpful, and going to it when I know I need to be updated, but not listening to it all day long. So if you have a tip, from Marcy, we've got a tip of hot bath and in moderation, some red wine. So again, we'd love to hear what you're doing to make sure that the worry is not kind of creeping in just too much into our everyday life, and really trying to make sure that we're staying as healthy as possible. So now we're just going to go to a third raffle prize. I mean, isn't this the best? You get prizes just for coming on Zoom. So this third prize is a second bouquet of mums, big basket of mums from Lambert's Rainbow Market. And this one goes to Natasha Smith. So Natasha, Susan Longmore will be reaching out to you to arrange a contactless delivery. When I see another healthy aging tip from Robert Pearson at the Norfolk County RSVP to focus on some deep breaths. I like that. Thank you, Robert. All right, and then we're going to actually give away our final raffle prize, which is a gift card from One Bistro, which is now serving curbside pickup in addition to having some dine-in options. And that gift card goes to Joanne Damish. So Joanne, Susan will be reaching out to you with to arrange delivery for that. So those are our raffle prizes, everyone. Thank you so much for participating, and hopefully you'll enjoy those prizes. So what we're just going to end on a couple of different notes here. One thing I do want to talk about is that we have a chance now to impact aging services in our area. As the Director of Planning and Community Development, every 4 years, I spearhead the agency effort to complete a needs assessment in order to write the HESSCO Area Plan on Aging. In order to learn more about the needs of older adults in our communities, we typically would hold meetings and focus groups with seniors. So, and often if the year coincided, at the time coincided with this conference, I would sit down with older adults who attended the conference. I might do a lunch focus group with them, talk to them throughout the day to really find those who are attending the conference what they felt the needs of older adults were. So we cannot do that as easily this year, clearly in this new digital format. So in follow-up to this Zoom, I will be sending all of you a survey. The survey can be done completely anonymously, or there will be an opportunity if you do want to put your contact information on the survey, you can. But it's really a survey to find out what you think is most important for older adults in this area. So on that survey, please let me know. There'll be several options of ideas of different things for you to pick, but also there'll be places for you to write in what you think are the most important issues. So you can expect that survey to come by email later this week. And I just want to thank you in advance for helping us out to really understand what the needs are so that we can really pull information together from a lot of different sources and develop that area plan on aging. Does anyone have any questions about that? All right, I'm hearing no questions and I'm not seeing anything in the chat. So then I think what we'll do is do a thank you to our Dedham Savings Bank sponsor. Again, Dedham Savings Bank has always been very generous for this, for HESSCO, and as well as for this Age Well with HESSCO event. So thank you so much to Dedham Savings. And then the 3 businesses that donated for our raffle prizes, Lambert's Rainbow Market, Trader Joe's, and One Bistro. I also want to express my thanks to Susan Longmore at HESSCO for all the help in coordinating this event, and of course our Executive Director, Mary Jean McDermott, for her leadership. None of this would be possible without her leadership, so thank you to both Susan and Mary Jean. So I'm doing a final check on the chat. Is there anything else that people would like to ask, or any messages that anyone would like to send the group? All right, so the last thing I would like to say, and I'm seeing some thank yous in the chat, and that thank you so much for attending. I'm really happy that all of you attended. What I'd like to share as my final message to all of you is that this is what we hope you heard today. And I started out the program with this, almost this same slide. We hope that you heard that there are many ways right now that you can be actively engaged in your health and well-being. But what we really hope now is that you choose at least one of those things. And one of those things is a step in the right direction, whether it's that you're reaching out to your senior center because you listen to Kerry, Sherry, and Kathy and realize there's a lot going on and you want to be connected, or whether one of those things is contacting 3 people that you are grateful for, that you have gratitude for, writing down your 3 good things, doing a 10-minute dance party. Choose at least one, and that's a step in the right direction. And the other thing is that remaining active and engaged during the time of the pandemic really requires different types of effort, and we do recognize that. But again, I can't stress enough, don't let the need for physical distance result in social isolation. Find your way to be connected. Maybe that will be through some of the technology that we've talked about. Maybe that will be through the programming at the senior center. But please find your way to be connected, and certainly contact HESSCO, contact your senior center, reach out to any of us out here in the community that you feel can help you stay connected. And with that, I'm going to thank you all. I see some wonderful messages in the chat. I'm appreciative of all of you and the participation that you've put forth today. Thank you so much. Go on and have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you.
Thanks, Cheryl. Nice seeing you all. Thanks, Mary Jean.
Nice to see everybody.
Bye.
Be well.
Bye.
Bye, thank you.